Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to Om Namah Shivaya YouTube channel. If you have watched the episode 1, this is episode 2, so you can continue watching. If you haven't, I please request you to watch episode 1 because I'm going to refer to some of the points that I raised in episode 1. Yeah. So just quickly to recap what we discussed in episode 1. We discussed categorizing everything into 3 categories. 1 is God, 2 is souls, 3 is the world. What we discussed last episode is that these 3 are existing eternally. They always existed, they will always exist. So one does not create the other. And we discussed what eternity means. When we say a thing is eternal, we are talking about things that have 2 main characteristics. One is that a thing that is eternal is ever present, omnipresent. That is, it is existing everywhere, all the time. The second characteristic is that it's indestructible. It cannot be destroyed, it cannot be changed in any way or the other. So when we say the God is eternal, we are saying God is omnipresent and it's indestructible. When we say souls are eternal, they are again omnipresent and indestructible. And the world, when I say world, in this context, we are talking about the world in subtle form, not the gross form, which is the world, the phenomenal world that we see around us. We are talking about the cause of this phenomenal world, the subtle form. I explained in the last episode, like thought is a subtle form of an action, or a thought of some creation is a subtle form. So we'll get into those detailed discussion on what is subtle and what is the gross form. But for now, we're talking about the subtle form of the world. Is eternal. It always exists, and it's omnipresent, and it's also indestructible. Okay, now we're going to go into the next stage in the God concept. The next stage of the God concept is that the nature of those 3 things that we discussed: God, the souls, and the world. The first thing that I'm going to take upon is the world. The world, the characteristic of the world is that apart from it being eternal, it does not have intelligence. So when we say intelligence, we are talking about 3 types of intelligence. One is called volition. In Hindi, in Sanskrit, it's called icha. Icha means you want to do something, you like something. That is the ichas. Or in English it's volition. That is, it's coming from yourself. It is not somebody else forcing on you. So that volition is not there for material. So in a table or a chair does not have volition, does not like or dislike something. Okay, so that's number one. So we are talking about intelligence, and what I'm saying is the world or the materials do not have intelligence. So they don't have volition. So when we say something doesn't have intelligence, we're saying it doesn't have a volition. Number one. Number two is called, in Hindi, it's called Jnana Shakti, or in English, it's cognitive power. That is, you do not have cognition. That is, in a crude translation, you can say understanding or observing. So if I look at an object and I say, okay, this object, this is palm. So when I say this is palm, and that cognition is called, is that Jnana Shakti, or the ability to observe a thing is called cognition. And obviously the materials do not have the cognitive power. Number two. Number three, they do not have, in Hindi, they do not have Kriya Shakti, or in English, it's kinetic power or kinetic power. So whichever accent you follow. The kinetic power is an ability to act upon. So let's say if I wear my hands, that's because of my kinetic power. And the materials do not have the kinetic power on themselves. So it's not that materials cannot be used to transmit a kinetic power. We're not talking about that. We're talking about them having on their own the kinetic power to, or if somebody is able to teach them the kinetic power, them to possess that kinetic power, the materials do not have it. So what we are establishing in this section is that material do not have intelligence. By intelligence we mean existence of all these three inert powers. So power 1 is volition, power 2 is cognitive, power 3 is connective. Now, so material don't have it. So they are dead materials. Materials are always dead. They do not have intelligence of their own. So let's come to the souls. And the souls are multiple. Okay? So because they are multiple, but they are also omnipresent. So my soul is omnipresent, so is yours. And you can ask, how can two souls can coexist? Yes, they can, because they are not material, so they do not occupy a particular time and space. They are not limited to a time and space. So they are basically always there, and it's present everywhere. So your soul and my soul are always present everywhere. So they don't have, because they're not materials, they don't conform to a time and space, and there is no question of the clashing between the souls. So basically all souls exist in the same space. So if you want to understand this concept of coexisting more than one material, not physical material, more than one thing coexisting, you can think of as, again, once again, this is as a way to understand the concept. Let's say we have television channels. Television signals are coming to your television box. And so you have, let's say, 100 channels, and there's an antenna inside your television box, and this antenna is receiving all 100 channels. So all 100 channels, the signals are present at the antenna, right? And you tune your television to basically amplify one of those signals, and then you see that particular channel on your screen. Now all these 100 channels coexist, and they are not just in your set-top box alone, they are in neighbor set-top box and their set-top box. So it's present everywhere it is able to reach. So extrapolate that concept to a soul which is present everywhere, okay, and it's got unlimited signal reach. So that's how the souls are. So okay, now does souls have intelligence? Yes, they do have intelligence, but do they know everything? So that is a question that we're going to answer further on. But are they intelligent? If the question is, are they intelligent? The answer is yes. Okay, and whether they know everything or how do they know anything at all? So while they have the power of the intelligence, they do not know everything, and they cannot do everything, and they do not, I mean, they have volition, but they don't think of, they don't like everything at the same time. So we will come back to the soul's intelligence a little bit later, but for now I want to make one point, then we go to God intelligence, and then we come back to the soul's intelligence. So the one point about the soul's intelligence is that it knows anything only if somebody teaches it. So the soul can know a particular concept or can gain a particular knowledge, but it cannot gain by itself. It has to be taught. So in Tamil, where I get these materials from, in Tamil it's called Asatta Sitta. That means Sitta means intelligent. Asatta Sitta means it is intelligent but only if it is taught. So intelligent but not intelligent at the beginning. So if somebody teaches it, it can learn and it can gain that particular knowledge, and it can gain particular kinetic energy, and it can gain it can have volitions as well. I mean, it starts off with a volition, and then other powers are basically enhanced by God. So we'll come to that, I mean, whether the God exists or not later on, but we're talking about now assuming that God exists, and we're going to prove that God exists in coming episodes. But in this case, let's assume for now that yes, God exists and God has got intelligence. Now let's go to the intelligence of God. Okay, here is a tricky bit, because we are saying souls are intelligent, and we are saying gods are also intelligent. And there is a whole heaps of religion that has come out of this particular premises. Because we are intelligent and God is also intelligent, we are also God. Okay, and this is where we need to analyze very, very critically and very carefully. It's a very delicate topic. Now, God is intelligent, and what we are saying is that, again, we are making this assumption at the moment, but we will substantiate in coming videos. But in this video, we are saying God is intelligent, so are the souls, but there's a difference between the intelligence of the souls and intelligence of the God. The souls are many, infinite in number. Okay. Now the God is only one. There cannot be more than one God. The reason there cannot be more than one God is that there cannot be more than one thing with exact same characteristics. Okay. So we are talking about God. So for this argument, for this episode, let's consider that as also a soul, intelligent being with a difference. The difference being is that God is omniscient, meaning he knows everything. Okay. Now, souls also can know everything if God teaches them. Okay, God teaches them. So that brings about the second characteristics of God, which is it is self-knowing. So it is all-knowing all the time. So it's omniscient. Not only the omniscient, it knows everything at the same time. Okay, it knows everything at the same time. So humans, for example, or animals, we can know everything. There is, because if God teaches us, let's say there are 1,000 things, like the whole world consists of only, let's say, 1,000 pieces of knowledge, for argument's sake. That means God knows all 1,000 things at the time, simultaneously. He knows all those 1,000 things simultaneously. But the difference with the soul is that soul can be taught all those 1,000 things, okay, by God. But soul cannot know all 1,000 things at the same time. It can know one thing, okay, and while it is dependent on or while it is contemplating on particular knowledge, it does not know other 999 things. It does not have that power to do that. So that is the difference between soul and the God. Okay, and souls are many and God is only one. Now, so we have established the nature of those three things. The first is that world or materials which are non-intelligent. So they do not have intelligence. Okay, number one. Number two, the souls have intelligence, have the ability to know things, an ability to do things, but it has to be taught. Okay, and the God, we are saying, he knows everything at the same time. So it's omniscient and omnipotent. That is that kinetic energy. So omniscient, omnipotent, and it can it's got a willpower as well. And so does the soul. Soul also has got a willpower. Okay. So that is the topic for this episode. That how these three things are, what are the characteristics of these three things. Now, I'm going to introduce a new concept which I will expand on in my next episode. The new concept is that I am making an assertion that, this is again from the materials, but I'm just giving you as a logical progression into the God concept. I'm making an assertion that God gave the world to the souls. So, and the souls were submerged in this particular darkness, and this darkness was the thing that the souls, in Tamil we call Sarandada. Sarandada means not dependent, but it is basically attaches itself to the darkness or ignorance, if you like. Okay? So, this ignorance was basically was not obviously helping the soul to learn everything. So God created a body with sense organs to the soul so that souls can learn those things. So you need a tool to learn those things. And God can teach the soul without the tool. God can teach the soul directly. It can. But the soul cannot, at a primitive intelligentsia, at the primitive intelligence, it cannot understand what the God is teaching directly. So it needs the help of the materials or the organs to learn those things. So it is a step-by-step process. So the whole idea of spirituality, if I can sum it up in one line, it's the process through which God teaches the souls to know everything, to come to the stage where he is, but he cannot take his position obviously, then there will be multiple gods, but it is the way to teach you the full knowledge, to give the full knowledge. So that is the idea. And in my next episode, I'm going to expand on this thing called world and what I mean by the world and what are the things. I mean, this is a very large topic and it's quite scientific. This is not some mumbo jumbo. This is quite scientific, and when I say scientific, that does not mean that every scientist on earth today can understand it. Okay, even I don't understand most of it, but the basic concepts we can understand. I mean, if somebody can understand the complete material world, then obviously is ultimate scientist, and we haven't produced ultimate scientist yet. And every scientist can only take us to next level. And so we are going to depend on this material from Scientism that can give us a blueprint of the material in its completeness. Okay, and we may not understand everything to the nth detail, but it helps us to organize information in such a way that it's comprehensively organized, and to know exactly what each component of the material mean, physically or mentally, whatever it is, mean. It is something only people who have reached that enlightened state, which is basically all-knowing state, only they can understand to the fullest extent. But in this coming episode, I'm going to explain a little bit about that material, and it's a very, very vast subject. Let me warn you that. And I'm not going to go through full details. I'm going to go through an introductory way, because that is not the main purpose of this series. The main purpose of the series is to prove logically an existence of God. So for that we need to understand a little bit of this material things that we're talking about, because God uses those materials to teach the souls to gain the knowledge, and then make the souls mature enough to understand the level of knowledge that he possesses to the source, and then gives that access to the knowledge. Now, the concept of this series is proof of God. So I'm going to give the materials and then quickly tell you why he uses it, and then why we say that God exists. Okay, that will be the next episode, where I will talk briefly about the material nature, and then from there we will talk about the reason why we know, not we believe, not we think, we know that God has to exist. And this is not some scientific material proof I'm going to give you. If you're expecting some material proof, sorry, I'm not going to give you, but it's going to be a logical proof, and it's going to convince you that there has to be something of this particular nature, whether you call it God or whatever, has to exist, and it has to have these characteristics. If it doesn't have these characteristics, then it does not explain the world today. So whatever I'm saying, the proof of the theory, if you like, or the concept, is in the pudding. So if I say something and it contradicts to your current day-to-day living, then do not accept it, and I do not accept either. So whatever I'm going to say has to fall logically in place for our day-to-day living. Like what we see every day, it should not contradict. In extension, it should not contradict a scientifically proven theories. So whatever I'm going to say is not going to contradict any of the proven concepts, scientific proven concepts. We're not talking about some scientists thinking, okay, some hypothesis. No, we're not talking about that. Some proven concepts, like for example, gravity. It should not contradict gravity. Okay, so that is the point. So please follow the next episode to get an understanding of God, existence of God. And thank you for watching. And I know this is not a quick answer that you may have expected, but from whatever I said in this episode, if you got any questions, please comment down, and also subscribe if you are interested in getting an email as soon as I upload the next episode. And thank you. Om Namah Shivaya.